Hey guys, this is Balu from Balu Prime and once again welcome you all back for an exciting tutorial. In this tutorial, let's see how we can create this fur dancing character animation inside Blender easily. So I hope you will find this tutorial useful, but before going to that, if you end up liking this video, please click on that like button to share this content, and if you are new to this channel, consider subscribing my channel and support me. So further without any ado, let's begin. So here you can see I'm using Blender 2.91. Nice. Now let's select everything in this default scene by pressing A on the keyboard and delete. So now let's first download our character along with the animation. So for that, here I'm using mixamo.com, which is free to download. We need to create an Adobe account and later we are good to go. So after logging into this site, select the character here. Here you can see we can select any of the characters, and after selecting a character, click on the animations, and here for suppose if I want to have any dancing animation, just click on this dance. We'll get so many dancing animations here. Just click on the animation what you like. So if I want to have this animation, just click on that and the character will acquire that animation. So once the character and animation is selected, click on this download button. Format, let it be FBX, frames per second. It's your choice. Either you can download with 60 fps or 30. I will leave to 30. And download with skin. It's not necessary, but for this tutorial you can download without skin also. But anyway, let it be with the skin. And after that, click on this download button. So our character along with the animation will start download. So I have downloaded a character along with the animation. So once the character is downloaded, again go to this Blender. Now let's import that character into the Blender. So for that, go to this file, import. Since we have downloaded in FBX format, select this FBX and import your model here. So here you can see I have got this dancing animation in FBX format. Select it, make sure that this animation is checked in or enabled, and import. So here you can see we got the character here. Now press S on the keyboard and increase the scaling of the character here. Okay, nice. So in this character, let's hide out this armature. So in scene selection, expand this, we can hide out this armature. We need only character, armature is not necessary, we can hide out it. Now let's create a ground floor for the scene. So go to this add, or else you can use Shift plus A, mesh, and select a plane. Now press S on the keyboard and increase the scaling. Okay. So now if we play this animation, you can see the character has got that dancing animation. Nice. Now let's see how we can create fur on our character. So for that, select the character. Either you can do by going to this object, quick effects, quick fur, or else you can click on this particle properties, click on this plus sign, and here you can select hair. So as soon as I selected this hair, you can see we got this long hair on our character. So now let's do some settings here. So number, this is the number of hair strands on our character. So I will be reducing this to 500. Okay, hair length I will be reducing to 1.5. Just check out different values and see how it looks. Nice. So enable hair dynamics also, expand this. Here quality steps, you can increase the quality, which increases the time also of baking and rendering whatever. And collisions, I will be leaving this to default. Structure, here you can change the values of the stiffness. Let me show you. For example, the stiffness is set to 0.5. If I play this animation now, you can see these strands or hair will be standing stiff. So for suppose if I reduce this value to 0.25, now if I play this animation, you can see this will be falling down. So by the name itself you can understand what this does. So I will be leaving all this to default. Just check out different values and see what else we can achieve here. So this is cache. So finally we will come to this portion. Now let's come to this render, leave it to default, viewport display. Here we can choose either to show that emitter. Here emitter is basically character. If I disable this, you can see we can hide out our character here. If you want, you can leave the character to be visible, or else you can hide out. So I'll be hiding it out. Nice. So now come to this children portion, expand it. Here select interpolated. So this is basically the display amount, means number of hair strands. So if we increase the amount to 50, you can see the number count increases here, and length also here you can change. So if I change to 0.5, we can reduce the length. So it depends on what value you choose. Enable long hair if you want. Okay, next clumping will be an interesting one. So just observe the edges of this hair. If I increase the clump value, you can see all these will be coming together. So these are the basic settings which I do for this fur. So if you want to get different look, you can change out the values here and see how it looks. So just try out different values for yourself to get different results. Okay, so if I now play this animation, you can see these furs are passing through this ground plane which we don't want. So in order to do that, we need to make this ground plane as colliding object. So for that, select this ground plane, make sure our ground plane is selected, click on this physics properties and click on this collision. So if I play this animation now, we can see that these have already passed through our ground plane. So from then you can see that our fur is not passing through this ground plane. Nice. So once these settings are done, now let's move to shading part. So click on this shading portion. The fur has already got a material, so select this fur, click on this material properties and delete. Click on this new. So we got principal shader here. Now let's enable node wrangler by going to this edit, preferences, and in search look for node. Enable this node wrangler and save those preferences. Just click here and save those preferences. After that, select this principal shader, click on this principal shader and press Ctrl plus T. So we got these shaders here. So we can delete this image texture, delete it. Now click on this add and in search bar look for ramp, color ramp, select this color ramp and let me place it here. Let me expand it. Okay, now again go to this add and look for gradient. Select this gradient, drop it here. Now connect this color of color ramp to base color of this principal shader, FAC to FAC of this color ramp. Okay, now vector of this mapping to vector of this gradient, and this texture coordinate to vector. So if let me drag it here, let me bring it here. So here you can see we got this gradient applied. So let me change the color. So let me change this. So let it be red and let me select another ramp color. So let it be purple and let me change this to ease and let me rotate here a bit like this so that we will get this cool gradient ramp color here. Okay, so in the same way let's add shader to this base also. So select this ground plane, click on this new material, let it be principal shader, change this base color to red or let me change this to light orange, let me give metallic look, reduce the roughness a bit. Nice. So once the shaders are applied, let's go to this layout once again. So click on this viewport, render viewport. Here you can see it is looking dark because there is no light in the scene. So in order to apply light, here I will be using HDR images. So click on this world properties, color, and add environment texture. So here I got few HDR images which I have downloaded from HDRI Heaven, which are free to download. Download link in the description. So let me select. So here I got this HDR image. So click on this render properties, scroll down to this film, enable transparent, okay, enable ambient occlusion, increase the distance, fine. If you want, you can enable bloom and enable this screen space reflections and refractions also. Nice, fine. So these are the basic settings which are required to do for this animation, which I do for this animation. So it's time to bake this animation. So select the character, click on this particle properties, scroll down to cache. Here you can see we got this cache option. So here you can see the simulation starts at 1 and at 250, and click on this bake option now. So it starts baking the scene. So here you can see our baking is done. And one more thing I forgot to say, if you want to add an external light like sun, we can do that. So go to this add, select light, and here you can use sun. So let me place it here. Let me bring it here. Click on this light properties, increase the strength. So here I will be increasing the strength to 50. Press R to rotate. Let me place it here and change the color to light blue or whichever color you like, or else let me change to, okay, let it be blue only, fine. So we got this, or else wait, let me bring it back, rotate it, okay, fine. So once these settings are done, now let's add camera. So go to this add once again and add a camera. Press Ctrl Alt 0. Now press N on the keyboard. Come to this view options and enable this camera to view. And now we can place our scene here. So let me place it here. Okay. So if I play this, we'll get this portion rendered. Okay, fine. So once the camera angle is set, now let's move to the rendering options. So click on this render properties. Here you can use either EV or cycles. Cycles will be much better in quality wise, but it will take much time to render, so I will be sticking on to this EV only. Okay, next scroll down. Okay, I think this much is enough in this render properties. Now click on this output properties. Here you can set the resolution. Currently it is set to full HD, and enable this render region option so that we'll get this region rendered. And the frame rates, here you can set from which frame to which frame the rendering should be done. So currently it is from 1 to 250 frames. Nice. Here you can set the frame rate. You can set up to 60, or else you can choose the custom one. I will be leaving this to 30. And output folder to save our rendered images. So let me select that one. Okay, output folder is selected. Now scroll down to this file format. Here you can use either JPEG or PNG, or else you can directly render into video format, but I will suggest you to do in JPEG or PNG. So I will be selecting this JPEG format. Quality 100%. Overwrite option, we don't need that. Okay, so once these settings are done, now let's see how to render this animation. So for that, simply go to this, click on this render and hit on this render animation. So after that, our rendering will start and the output files will be collected or saved in the format of JPEG. Okay, So in the preview I have used some 3D assets at the side of my character just to enhance the scene. So you can add any 3D characters or any 3D objects in order to improvise the scene. So in this way we can create this fur dancing animation in Blender easily. So I hope you guys have learned something new from this tutorial. If you have learned anything new, please like, share and subscribe my channel to support me. So we will meet in the next video. Until then, signing off. Take care. Bye.